So we're here learning Alshech, the Holy Alshech in the Holy Alshech synagogue in the holy city of Tzfat with some holy Yidden here. And it's the holy Parashat of Shoftim this week. And we're talking about the mitzvah of appointing judges. And Ramosha says as follows, the line begins, Ach ata, hamamaneh aseh zot efo. So now, this is an interesting thing. There's a rule that Ramosha is going to bring as well later, that an honest person is someone that doesn't actually ever go to court. Why? Because he's always forthcoming with the money he owes. He doesn't have to be forced to do it. He doesn't have to be coming for the judges to have to verify it and then enforce the fact that he has to pay. He's actually on his own accord happy to give what he owes. So this is what Moshe is going to tell us is the explanation in this pasuk, in this version of understanding. ושפטו את העם לומר, הלא אמרתי לך שתמנה הדיינים לך לעצמך. Last time we saw that שופטים ושוטרים תיתן לך, you should appoint judges for yourselves. Who's yourself? Yourself is the appointer himself. He's appointing himself as part of he's beneath the law. Lo derech Chassidim hizo. The truth is that that's not the real way of just and pious people. The truth is you should never have to be judged. You should on your own accord do what's right and just. That you shouldn't have to be the one to be forced to give money in court. You should appoint judges for yourself. That's number one. The first level is that you shouldn't think you're above the law. But even higher than that, if you want to be even more pious, you should know v'shaftu et ha'am v'lo otcha. You shouldn't even need to be judged. The judges should just be for the people, not for yourself. You should judge yourself, even though that means that you have to pay up. You should judge yourself and be truthful. If you'll be acting in a pious way, this is a very interesting thing. He says, in the merit of you never needing to be judged, because you're always being forthcoming about money you owe, in that merit, the judges you appoint will also be just and fair judges. Because I guess in a way this is like the concept of like setting an example and having a ripple effect and the people around you. If the leaders and the people running the show are fair and not cheating and stuff, then that has an effect. And also there seems to be a skula. It seems to be like a merit. Good things come out of good people. So if you're a person that lives with justice in the financial ways, then obviously whatever you do will have to come out and be a good thing, and therefore the judges you appoint will find themselves doing the right thing. Oh yeah. Im ba kibalam denu yamane shoftim v'shotrim yishpetu et ha'am v'lo shoftim v'shotrim yitztarchu lishpot otam ki yeh lehem davar. Another way of explaining I'm not sure how this isn't the same thing as before. I'm not sure exactly. It seems to be saying the same thing. Oye, kibala lamed ימנו שופטים ושוטרים, ישפטו את העם. ולא שופטים ושוטרים יצטרכו לשפוט אותם, כי יהיה להם דבר. It could be that now he's saying that the judges will be just people, that the judges themselves won't need to be judged. Because the judges themselves will also be people that never come to court because they're always forthcoming with what they owe. Ki hai daina, as the Gemara says in Baba Batra, a judge, the mapkim yimem emona badina, a judge that money is taken out from him in court, lav daina. Right? A judge has to be someone that doesn't need to come onto the court in order to pay. So now Moshe is going to use this concept and he's going to go into a discussion regarding Avshalom, the son of David. So he's now going to explain the discussion there that happens in Samuel 2. Shahaya mitba'er Avshalom beganvod lev b'nei Israel. It says that he stole the hearts of the people. Because people would come to David HaMelech to be judged by the king, as the way was in the kings of Judah, to actually be a source of justice to the people. And he would, when the people would come, that's how he started spreading his intentions to start leading and rebelling, was when the people were waiting in line to speak to the king. So the pasuk says as follows: if we pay attention to those verses, we will understand what went on there. It says as follows: Avshalom stood in the line of the people waiting to be judged. Anyone that came that had a conflict, a dispute with his neighbor, that would come to be judged by the king. Avshalom started the conversation by saying, which city do you come from? And the reply was as follows: Me'achad shiftei Yisrael avdecha. We come from one of the Jewish tribes. Seems quite vague of an answer. Yomer lav Avshalom. Avshalom would then follow the conversation, and he would say another thing. He would say, Re'ei devarecha tovim and chochim. You have a very good claim. You should be coming out victorious in this judging session. However, the king won't listen to you. He would make people feel like there was no justice, that his father wasn't a just source of justice. Avshalom would say then, who would appoint me to be the judge of the land? And to me, people should come to resolve their conflicts. And I'll make sure that they come out victorious. So there's a few things that seem to be odd and out of place in these verses. It says Moshe the following: first of all, why does Avshalom start off the conversation by asking them where they're from? How does that make a difference? How is that leading up to his point? Right? What kind of question is that? Which city are you from? What does he care? Why does Avshalom care about that? I guess it's a conversation starter, but what's the point? Number 2, v'gam tshuvat ha'ish yira'eh kara keshereg. The person responding seems to be an icy response, cold as snow, says Rav Moshe. He's asking you a question. He's trying to get friendly. He's trying to get to know you. And instead of saying, I'm from Tzfat, he's like, I'm from one of the tribes of the Jewish people. So why are you getting all cloak and daggery? Why can't you just say where you're from? Just tell them where you're from. And at least say which tribe you're from. So that you're keeping it general, but at least you're giving them some kind of idea of where you're from. But here they're just literally saying, I'm one of the Jews. Obviously I know you're one of the Jews. So he's literally, the person is not answering. So why is this the conversation that went on between him and the people? Number 3, v'od shayam yeshiv shelo ka'inyan. The answer is also not necessary, because instead of saying, when asked which city are you from, instead of saying I'm from one of the cities of the Jewish people, he answers in one of the tribes. Why did he suddenly move over to just talking about tribes. Number 4, v'od amro re'ei dvarim tovim nechochim. Ki alo ad kol lo siper tanotav. Avshalom, even before hearing the guy's claims and hearing what he's here to resolve, what dispute he has with his neighbor, he says, you definitely you're in the right here. I know that you should be the one, you should be victorious in this court sitting. How do you know? Like, you haven't even heard what the guy has to say. Number 5, v'od amro mi yasimeni. Rav Shalom says, I will become the judge. I'll become the judge, and I'll make everybody victorious. How can you make everybody victorious if there's 2 people coming? Then obviously one guy is victorious and one guy loses. So how can he claim to be that judge that's going to make everybody happy? Ech yitachen, says Rav Moshe, shekol haba lefanav yatzedekeu, anybody that comes before him shall come out vindicated. Ha'im efshar lezakot shtar ala beitrei, can you give the right to 2 people? Haloim echad yitzdag, if one guy wins, shekenegdo yitchayav, that means that the other guy loses. So now we have to understand what's going on here. What is Avshalom's plan? What is this conversation he's having with people? And how is that leading to what he's trying to achieve? Ach ye'amer. This is how we'll explain it, says Rav Moshe. Ki lignov da'at et ha'am, in order to cheat the people, to steal their minds and to fool them. Sha'al el haba l'adon lefnei hamelech terem yikanes. Anyone waiting in line to go to the king, he would ask them the following question: Eimi ze'ir ata? Which city are you from? What was he meaning? What did he mean to ask by that? He meant to say, are you part of the Judah tribe? Are you related to the king? Do you have an in here at all? Or are you from a faraway place that doesn't have any connections? So what was he trying to hint to the people? He was trying to hint to them, Im atam yarei Yehuda mishpachat hamelech, if you're part of the Yehuda tribe, the family of the king, the inner circle of the kingdom, Yetzdikecha, the king will give you justice. Klomar sheyachnif et krovav, that the king is playing favorites with his family members. Az ha'ish yavin davar v'yomar. And people would say, no, it can't be. It can't be that the king will play favorites. I'm part of the Jewish people. We're all Jews. We're all here together. Halo ivri anochi. Shoftim Israel, I'm part of the Jewish people. It doesn't make a difference which city I'm from, what's my family background. Justice is the same. The truth is the truth to everybody equally. But Avshalom would say no. He would say, you're right. When he says your claim is right, he's not talking about his individual claim that he's coming to resolve here with the king. He's saying the claim that you just said, that you're part of the tribes of the Jewish people and it's all the same, justice is true for everybody. You're right what you're saying, but you won't get that truth from the king. You're right, the king's wrong, the king is playing favorites. So he was literally bad-mouthing his father to the people. He wanted people to lose trust in his father as a king. You should know that even though you're very right, but nobody's listening to you. This is not how it works around here. So he's saying that would be nice. It would be at least half of a problem only if this favoritism was only given by the king's inner circle, or by his attendants, or by his officers. But the problem is that the king himself as well is in on this. He's also playing favorites. He's the one instructing everybody to play favorites with the tribe and the family members. So people shouldn't think that, people shouldn't catch on that all he's trying, all his intentions are in order to get himself a kingdom. Right? People shouldn't think that he's obviously, his intentions are for himself to take over. He wouldn't then continue and say, oh, by the way, I'm also looking to to become a judge. Like it shouldn't seem too obvious that that's the end goal here. So he would just say, "Oh, okay, yeah, this is the situation. We're in a corrupt kingdom," and that's how he would end the conversation. V'achar kach chazer v'no'er v'omer mi yisimeni. Only later on, I'm not sure how long he would leave the gap, but he would almost as if like unrelatedly say, I think I would do a great job of being a judge. I'm actually more of a just person. The gam, so he would say it as if he's not continuing the conversation before, and that's why the Yomer of Shalom. It says a new saying. Pam Shenit b'toch Harav. It's a new Vayomer. It means it sounds like the pasuk is indicating that he separated these two statements and he tried to make as if it wasn't a continuation of the previous discussion. And then the Gam lo yamer mi yisimeni melech ba'aretz. He didn't go ahead straight away and say, "I want to become the king." That's a bit intense. But what would he say? He would say, "Mi yisimeni shofet ba'aretz." I'm not looking to become a king. I'm just looking to become a judge. I'm not necessarily of the entire people. I want to become a judge somewhere in the land so I can at least implement some justice somewhere. Obviously, I'm not going to play favorites with anyone or that I'm connected to. Even when it comes to a person on himself, a person doesn't usually see any negative. The person has a biased version of seeing themselves in a positive light. I would even see myself as guilty with someone else. I would actually not need to be judged by the courts. I would actually agree that I need to pay before anyone tells me that. Even if someone's coming to claim money from me, it doesn't depend who the person is. Any man that comes, whether he's honorable or a local pleb, if he has a claim against me, if he's right, and the truth is that he's the one that's true, that's right in this case, then I will tell him he's right before others coming to tell me he's right. So this is basically Rav Moshe is telling us that this concept of a judge that doesn't need to be judged is also what we find by Avshalom, that he was claiming to be that type of level of a just person in order that the people should trust him to be the one, to be the judge. The Shema Tomar, Mana Asem Lo Yimatzun Ke'ele. So now you're telling me to find a very high level judge, a judge that's so truthful and honest that he'll come forward to pay something that he owes. But that seems to be a rare quality. Everybody gets blinded by money. If you'll find someone like that in a very special generation with lots of tzaddikim, that doesn't mean necessarily that you'll find such a special Jew in a different generation. So now we're going back to Hashem telling Moshe, don't you worry if you won't find such special, honest people in every generation. Because the mitzvah isn't to find the highest level of judges, even if they're not around. You're not going to find Moseses and Samuels in every generation. The leaders and judges of the people go in accordance with the level of the people. As the Gemara says in Rosh Hashanah, that Yiftach, who was actually a very coarse individual, a very simple person, but he became the judge of the people at the time. And the Ramosh is explaining that happened because the people were on that level as well. So if we find that the leaders and the judges and the rabbis are not such special people, it's because it goes according to the level of the people is the level of the rabbi. Well, lefi erech hador, so according to the level of the people of the generation, lo ye'adru b'chol davar. Every generation you'll find someone that is worthy of being a judge according to the level of the people. So maybe you won't find, if you don't find someone on this level of honesty, it's because the people aren't there. People aren't holding on that level to have such a person. But there'll be someone in the same proportion of honesty that can be a judge for that generation. As the Midrash says, that Moshe Rabbeinu was shown, Sheher Allah HaKadosh Baruch Hu Moshe, that Hashem showed Moshe, Dor v'Dor, every generation with its leaders. Dor v'Shavtav, every generation with its judges. Hinei ki me'az ra'ayit barach v'yechalek ha'shoftim ha'ro'iyim l'chol dor v'dor. And this Midrash is pointing out, says Rav Moshe, that the generation goes with its leaders. The generation goes with its judges. That a judge is in proportion with the state of the people. Hashem knows in advance what the state of the people in general are going to be like, and he appoints leaders and judges based on the proportion of the level of honesty and justice of the people in general. Don't worry if you won't find such special people. The judges and enforcement officers that I've spoken about, it's based on the tribes. It's in proportion to the level of the tribes in every generation. Hashem sends unique and fit judges, specifically targeted and uniquely suitable for each generation's needs. So this is how we explain the pasuk with Shir HaKatov. This is how the pshat in the pasuk goes like this: Shoftim v'shotrim titen, Ata Rosh Yisrael Maneotam. Who we're speaking to? We're speaking to the appointers, the leaders that are appointing judges. And now that, therefore, we're telling them v'techaven l'shum shamayim, that you should have an intention of doing it not out of like the fact that you're in charge and you're making other people so you feel above the law because you're the one that appointed the law enforcement. If you realize that we're all serving the higher truth and the justice of Hashem, then you'll appoint the judges above yourself because this is all the same. This is all the one purpose. You'll accept their power of justice above yourself. If you do that, Hashem will make sure that your appointment will be a good appointment. Hashem will make you be the messenger, and you will find and appoint the right people. The right people that are fit and suitable and actually were designated and set from the beginning of creation. So Hashem's saying that there's a plan here. There's a plan of who the people are, and there's a plan who the judges should be. And you're a cog in this wheel that Hashem has set into motion. So you happen to be the person that's in charge, or seems to be in charge of finding the suitable judge. But you should know that Hashem already has someone in mind who's suitable to be the judge for this generation. And you have to make sure that you allow yourself to have the merit to find the right person who's supposed to be fit for the job. But Hashem says you'll only have the merit of finding this individual who's supposed to be fit for the job if you're doing this with the right intentions. Meaning that you're not doing this out of a place of power and control, where you believe that, oh no, I'm appointing judges, I'm above everything, I'm the one that's appointing the law, like the what they call it, deep state. The guys appointing the presidents. So you shouldn't see yourself as a guy like running the guys that are running the show, the country. You're serving the justice, serving Hashem, and once you see yourself in that way, you'll actually be able to have Hashem's plan channeled through you, and then you'll actually appoint the right judges that are suitable for the people, and then everything will be beautiful. Right? So this is like a very humble approach to be an appointer of judges, and that's what will cause that you'll find just people and the right type of judges, and they won't need to be judged because there'll be honest people that won't need judges. So I think we'll leave it here for now, and we'll continue